Hello, and welcome to the Kingston Grammar School podcast. With the school motto of work well and be happy ever present in all aspects of the curriculum and co-curriculum, Kingston Grammar School is one of the most successful co-educational schools in the UK. I'm your host, Shannon Delwish, and regardless of how you came to find us, I hope you learn a bit about Kingston Grammar School while you're here, and I know that as one of our listeners, you will quickly start to feel more a part of the inclusive KGS community. We're happy to have you. This is the fourth and final episode in our Sport at KGS series. In this series, we have featured former KGS students who now represent England and GB in their sport, as well as current KGS student athletes who are already performing at a very high level.
I'm Martha, I'm in Year 12 and I'm studying further maths, chemistry and physics for A-level. I first started playing hockey when I was about 7 because my dad was a really good hockey player. I started at Teddington Hockey Club in the junior section and just worked my way up from there. I am now in the GB EDP squad, which is sort of like the GB Under-23 squad and also the England Under-21s. And I have been part of the England Under-16 squad for the past 2 years as well, and played against Ireland, Wales, and most recently Germany, Holland, and Belgium as well. After I finish my A-levels, I do want to continue to play hockey at university and take it as far as I can, and hopefully at one point play in the GB senior squad and for England in the Olympics and World Cups and Commonwealth Games and things like that. But I think I'm just taking it as it comes and trying to push myself and challenge myself as much as I can. KGS has been really flexible in the way that they support you both as a person and as an athlete. When you come to KGS, as a sports scholar, you get an academic mentor, so they can help you through any problems you have, whether they're sports related or not. I'm very proud to be a KGS student.
In this final episode of our Sport at KGS series, I caught up with Zach Wallace. Like Martha, the current KGS student and hockey player you heard at the top of this episode, Zach was inspired at a young age to pick up a hockey stick by his father. Zach is now a professional hockey player for the England and Great Britain men's team and plays his club hockey in Holland for the Dutch club HGC. Most recently, Zach represented Team GB in the Tokyo Olympic Games in 2021. Zach attended KGS from 2010 to 2016, with his most notable hockey moment being winning the U14 National Championships in 2013 and the school hockey tour to South Africa in 2016. Since making his debut, Zach has gone on to represent England at the World Cup and 2 European Championships and GB in the Pro League and Olympic Games, with 63 caps and 9 goals to his name so far. But his career is far from over, and Zach has many, many aspirations ahead of him. Good morning, Zach. Thank you for joining me today to chat about all things hockey and KGS.
Yeah, good morning as well, and yeah, thanks very much for having me on.
Is it a busy time right now?
It is. So over here, I'm playing out in Holland professionally this season.
Well, what's it like living out there?
It's been a big change. I think particularly being in England before going up to the Tokyo Olympics, just with the nature of what it's like, with it being in a squad where there's going to be a selection from 30 down to 16. It's a very, very intense environment to be in because, well, yeah, the Olympics is what people are training, I suppose, 4 or 5 years for. And then come out to Holland. Holland I found super chilled out. Really nice country. People are very friendly. Actually, where we are in The Hague is 15-minute cycle from the beach.
Lovely.
Yeah, so now the weather's turned a little bit nicer. It's been, you just pop down to the beach in the day, chill out, do whatever. And then, a bit of training in the evening. So can't complain at all.
Well, let's go back a little bit back in time, and when you were at KGS. Tell me a bit about your experience as a student there. I know that your dad was the deputy head, so you
He
already had
was.
KGS kind of running through your veins.
He was. So joined KGS when I was 10. They used to in the past have like a year six, 1 year six class that would then feed up into the senior school. So I joined in year six. This is like a whole new world almost.
Right.
Getting to go because as you said, my dad deputy head, getting to travel up with him early mornings. So yeah, I think it was really fun at first. The early mornings didn't become as fun the longer I was there. Um, but no, like I look back with some amazing memories. I think a lot of my friends who I was friends with right at the start are still some of my best friends today.
Right.
So I think that's pretty special. And yeah, I'm not sure. I think that's, yeah, says a lot about the environment at
Mm.
KGS that it's able to create those bonds and those long lasting friendships.
And you had a good experience with faculty and staff as well. Did you keep in touch with the teachers there as well?
Yeah, I do. I still have a good relationship with a lot of the teachers. Funny enough, a couple of them, particularly on the sports staff side, as I grew older, I played hockey with outside of school. There's almost more of a friendship than a teacher-student relationship, which is pretty, yeah, it's pretty nice. I think I had to be good. My mum always told me because my dad was deputy head. She'd be pretty strict on me. Yeah, she said can't go embarrassing your dad and things like that. So
And what drew you to KGS? I mean, obviously your dad was there, but you knew you'd follow hockey from a young age, didn't you?
I think when I was young, hockey was it was just always what I wanted to do. Kingston had a great reputation and still does. So I think my dad being there and the fact that it was a great hockey school that really drew me there. I think the second thing, because Kingston's in the middle of Kingston, it's a very small site,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
so but between lessons you're bumping into people left, right, and centre. You see everyone basically. The small campus almost made a real like friendly environment, big sense of community. So I think that sets Kingston apart as well.
I know that to be a student there, it's very competitive, and I know that that kind of drives through the veins of KGS, kind of a competitive drive, but in a really positive, healthy way. So, how do you think that KGS manages to have maintain like a loveliness, but also a real competitive edge? Like, how do you balance the two? Because I always wondered if people were super competitive, they wouldn't be very pleasant to be around.
That's a good question. The fact that there's almost the independence, the fact that not everything from the school is just given to its students on a plate. I think that yeah drives a real sense of humility, but also work ethic. That the understanding that to achieve what you want to achieve, you're going to have to go and do it yourself. It drives a lot of humility into the students. And I think when you say about the competitiveness and that coming out, I think yeah, it almost helps drive that. 'Cause you understand that to be successful, it needs to come from you deep down, and the work ethic required to actually achieve good things.
So let's move on to life after KGS, and just can you just talk me through your hockey career and tell me, were you given a title of youngest player on an Olympic hockey team?
So yeah, I was so after.
Maybe just weave that in there.
Yeah, thanks for dropping that one in there. No, yeah, I think after I finished school, I almost had a bit of a period where I had almost a big decision to
Mm,
make. So I had yeah, very fortunate enough to have an offer from the GB hockey squad to go to trial to go full time.
right.
But it is like it's full time training, so it doesn't really allow for anything else. But also finishing school, I was quite wary of. Okay, hockey it's my passion, it's what I want to follow, but long
Hmm.
term, okay, my career is short, and it's not like a career that sets you up for life as such. So, what am I going to go to university for 3 years, put it off,
Mm,
um, and then pursue the hockey, or do I go
hmm.
straight into it? I sat down with my family, um, and yeah, they said their inputs, and they said it's an opportunity you can't give up. After school finished, had my summer, and then August went into trial for the senior team. Was really fortunate that I was given a place full time in the program. Well, 3 months after I joined, we went to the World Cup. For me, being young, that was so cool because well, you got teams in there: New Zealand, Australia, Argentina. So I'm young, I'm traveling around the world. I suppose at that point it was not the worst decision to give up on uni. So yeah, that was 2019, and then building up to Tokyo, of course, COVID pandemic hit.
Yep.
That was a strange time. You're almost in limbo, like, are the Olympics going to happen? Are they not? And then they're announced they're not, and you're like, puts a real downer.
Your story during the pandemic is something else. I mean, like we say, everybody has their story, but I mean, hockey wise and just athletic wise, what stage of prepping for the Olympics were you when the pandemic hit? Take me back to that.
It was about 3 months out from Tokyo Olympics, 3-4 months. Training was so full on. Everyone was going really hard at it, just basically training full time for the Olympics at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a funny one because you start hearing all these rumors like, oh, there's this disease going around, pandemic, and you're like, oh, okay, right. And then it starts to become, and then there's lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And even when lockdown hit, I remember thinking, oh, right, well, okay, that's a bit annoying. This might be a few weeks, month, whatever. Just gonna have to sit this one out. And I was like, there's no way they're gonna cancel an Olympics, surely not. And then more and more it went on. You're like, wow, this is like way more serious than I think anyone could have anticipated. And of course, like led to the Olympics being cancelled. But anyway, yeah. So lockdown, I look back now, and I probably had one of the most fortunate lockdowns of anyone. So I was living at the time at a flat above the hockey club at Surbiton. I was living with 3 of my other Surbiton teammates, 2 of whom happened to be in the GB squad as well. Now I look back and I think we were, so incredibly fortunate that we had the 3 of us, and particularly the 2 guys who were in the team as well, because you could really you really pushed each other, and we could really drive each other on to keep training even when there wasn't that much motivation, because when the Olympics are cancelled, you've been training 3-4 years anyway, and then you're like, wow, I've got another whole year to wait for this. And I look back at the Olympics and all 3 of us actually got selected in the final 16, which
so amazing.
Who knows whether we would have or wouldn't have without it. But I mean, it's one of those things you look back and we've got of course a really close bond because of it.
And I know that you and Jack Waller go back a few years, and I have spoken with Jack, and he was telling me how he was such a good kind of like big brother figure to you during school. And he thought you might counter that.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. He says that, interesting.
But then you and Jack have had a very similar career since leaving KGS, and went to Tokyo together, right?
Went to Tokyo together. He was actually my roomie when I first came into the under-21 squad. Jack was very well established in the under-21s. He was the captain. And I think we've just had a really good relationship since. I think partly just because we've been on the same path, same journey, so we understand each other. But yes, when I came into the under-21s, in this scenario, he actually was like a big brother to me. He looked after me, took me under his wing, gave me a lot of confidence to go out and express myself and play my game when I think I was 17 when I was coming into that team. So I was still one of the younger ones. So he was really good with me. And then we trialed for the senior team at the same time. Since then I've just been very close.
If somebody told you that you would be in Tokyo at that point of your life when you were just starting as an 11-year-old kid, would you have believed it?
Yeah, I would have, definitely. I think, I would have. It's always been, my dream to go to Olympics, and without it coming across in the wrong way, I've genuinely always believed I would have been to one. But to be honest with you, it's my dream to win a gold medal at the Olympics, not just to go and participate.
You're not done yet.
Yeah, so I don't feel like by going to the Olympics, I don't feel like I've achieved some sort of goal. I'm obviously very, very proud of going to the Olympics, and family are very proud and stuff. But I don't feel like I've achieved what I want to achieve yet.
How do you get yourself into a competitive mindset, and how do you look at building yourself and preparing yourself for success?
I think for me, a lot of getting myself in the right mindset is essentially like seeing the opportunity in things as opposed to the threat, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
When I look back at times I've not been playing well or setbacks I've had and not deselections, it's been because I've always been worried about, oh, what if this happens? What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough?
Right.
And when I get into that mindset, that's like a real like warning sign for me that I'm not going to play well. Because I go very within myself, and don't really put my game out there. So for me, it's about changing my mindset. So I'm seeing the opportunity.
Right.
Yeah, like going into games, like what can I do to impact this game? Where am I going to create chances? And just getting myself in a place where I'm really going after it, as opposed to, I suppose letting it come to me.
So more proactive approach than reactive. That's really interesting. What is your advice to students involved with sport or looking to get involved with sport at KGS?
Put yourself out there. That's the main thing. I think even just in anything, not just in sport, just put yourself out there. I think that's one of the biggest things I've found. And then I think the second thing is just not underestimating how much hard work is required to actually get to the top level.
Right.
I think you see, like, I suppose today, particularly with social media, so much stuff on, I did this in like almost like successful quickly. And you always see the good things. You never see the real, like the dark side of it. But yeah, I promise everyone that's got to the top of what it is, whether it's in sport, in life, in their jobs, it's hard work. Like there's no like cheat code as much as you want there to be. Like talent, even when you're young, talent, it can actually get you quite far. Even probably up to age of 18, 20. Talent can get you there. It can get you up to under 21 level. It can maybe even get you into like a senior international level. But if you really want to get to the top of the top, then hard work. That determination of, okay, I've got this goal that I want to achieve. I'm still going to do it, even though I hate doing it. I don't like myself for it. But that's what I mean by like that dark side of doing it, even when you don't want to do it, even when it's not nice.
Yeah. Do you have any advice to parents who have children who are either budding athletes or existing athletes, and how to support them through an athletic career?
Probably the key point is just being there to support them. If someone wants to achieve something and has that real drive to do it, then they'll do it even without parents being too pushy or forcing them into this or that or the other. If parents force someone into something when they don't want to do it, it might work in the short term, but long term, it's just going to make them hate what they're doing even more. I think the most important thing is that they're there, but don't try and force it.
That's great advice. It was really nice speaking with you, and I think what you've said will hit home with a lot of people.
Okay, amazing. Thanks very much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Kingston Grammar School podcast. Join us next week when head of drama Richard G. and actor-in-residence Stephen Kennedy take center stage, presenting details about the enviable KGS drama department and sharing with us what has made them so passionate about the theater. We would like to hear from you. Get in touch to tell us what you're enjoying about the podcast and join other listeners in suggesting topics which you'd like to learn more about. You can email us at podcast@kgs.org.uk. And there are endless platforms on which you can access this podcast: Spotify, Apple, Acast, Amazon, SoundCloud, or YouTube for starters. So please recommend this podcast to friends and family, as it is so easily accessible to any and everyone. And remind them it's free. Oh, and follow, download, or subscribe to the series, and do take a moment to rate and review the podcast. It only takes a moment, but it makes a huge difference to us because it makes the podcast more visible for those who are searching for us. Special thanks to our guest in this episode, Zach Wallace. Thank you also to Allison Williams, Director of Marketing and Admissions at Kingston Grammar School. This has been an Applied Reality production, produced by Shannon Vandermark, sound design by Alex Marcoux, with additional design, mixing, and editing by George Powell.